All right, this is Minutes with MACHE, and we are here with Sean Clifford. Matt Gore is secretly sitting in on one of the blank screens there. And Sean is an expert in internet safety and protecting your children online. I'm also here with Ruth Brinker, and I'm Sean Dickers, and this is Minutes with MACHE. Let's get going right into it, Sean. So start off the topic for us, real forest instead of the trees. Why is the internet a challenge for some families and some parents? What are some of the pitfalls that parents find when they get on the internet? And I'll say that in context of, it looks like we have thousands of new people, not only just schooling at home, probably tens of thousands, but we have thousands of people that are now homeschooling. And the internet is one of our top tools for getting information and accessing information at home. So what are some of the things that families would run into that might be a pitfall or a challenge for them?
Well, thanks so much for having me today. And it's a great question. And to address it properly, I want to say a couple things about the internet itself. It is vast, it's dynamic, and it's everywhere and immediately accessible. And I think it's those three things that make it such a challenge for parents to navigate. You can access unbelievable educational content. You can go to Khan Academy and learn algebra or arithmetic, and that's wonderful. And you also can be exposed to some pretty dark content. And it's that vastness and dynamism that is a challenge as parents try and figure out how exactly they want their children to get the good without the bad. So there are a number of specific challenges that we've been speaking with parents over the years, and I'll highlight a few that we hear. The first are very specific challenges. One of the top is that the internet is a portal to addictive and harmful content. Whether this is the video game, the endless entertaining videos on a platform like TikTok, or what we focus on, which is pornography, it is immediately accessible right there all the time, only a few button pushes away. In addition to that, you have the typical stranger danger, and this is the internet communication ability makes it so that you can touch base with everyone, and people, oftentimes strangers, will reach out to your children, and finding a way to make sure that they are safeguarded is increasingly challenging. And then lastly, it's formative, right? It is a place where radical ideas can be introduced, misinformation is there, and oftentimes it's manipulative by design. And so for those reasons, those are specific things that parents want to try and figure out how they can get the best of it without letting their kids be exposed to that. Then there are the ways that the internet and your child's exposure to it can shape you more broadly. So irrespective of what the content is that you're accessing, it is reinforcing instant gratification. It is serving up a never-ending supply of titillating content that is in the process rewiring your brain. And so I think that's something parents are thinking about. And lastly, it doesn't make you very happy. It's great as a tool for addressing boredom and anxiety, but it can become something that ultimately doesn't leave you that satisfaction or that real contentedness that you're looking for. So those are, broadly speaking, some of the specific pitfalls and also some of the ways in which you interact with the internet and how that shapes you that I think parents are appropriately wrestling with today and trying to figure out how to venture into this brave new world and ultimately make sure their kids emerge on the other end healthy and happy.
A lot of the same things that make it a powerful learning tool actually make it a powerful distraction and even problematic tool. And it's the same kind of features.
That's absolutely right. And so, one of the most interesting things we've observed, and this was really highlighted in the recent Netflix movie, The Social Dilemma, but the tools that have been developed to make sure that content is engaging. And when we think of it, education as an example, we want the content to be engaging. We want to have our children.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good thing. And then when you shift your frame of reference to something like Facebook or Twitter or TikTok, that same engagement keeps them going down that rabbit hole in a way that may be challenging or not always the best for them. And so one of the things that we encourage parents to think about and to talk to their kids about is the difference between intention and attention. Is the way you're using a tool, whether it's a smartphone or computer, helping you fulfill an intention to learn algebra, to understand a different country? Is it something that you actively want it to help you do? Or is it vying for your attention in an effort to capture your time and your eyeballs on the site and engage so that they can hit their own advertising or monetization goals. And I think that framework, really understanding what you're doing and which one, attention or intention, that a tool is using can be helpful as you figure out how best to use it.
That is wise. I like that, intention versus attention. I will use that in our family. So do you have some good strategies for parents to teach their children how to use the internet safely? So any like rule of thumb or some good tips?
Absolutely. So I'll say, as we talk about this, there's kind of three things that we always encourage parents to do. Number one, you should actively protect your kids. And I think the framework that's helpful here is treat the internet as a privilege and responsibility, like driving a car. You don't hand over the keys to an 8-year-old and just say, good luck, have fun, take it, come back, let me know when you're back. And so begin with supervision, institute some guardrails, like an internet filter, because the truth is there's a lot of content out there on the internet that's simply not for kids. And as they're young, they will be exposed to it. They'll trip, they'll stumble onto it. They won't necessarily be seeking it out, but it's there and it will find them. And so making sure that there is protection in place. And this is like, give them a seatbelt so that they know how to navigate it safely, I think is critical. So identify the tools that can help protect them is the first thing. The second thing is prepare them. And this is really preparing yourself as a parent and your child for the pitfalls that regrettably are likely to happen. So as an example, we deal with preventing kids from being exposed to pornography. In the United States, the average age of exposure for an American boy is 13, and it is dropping every year. I hope that never happens to your children, but the odds are that it will. And when that happens, it's helpful if they know how to respond. It's helpful if they know to come talk to you and that they're not going to be in trouble and that you're not going to be angry and that they should report this, and how then you can deal with it, equipping them for that conversation and that experience once it actually happens makes a big difference. And then the third thing that I would say is provide them an example by modeling healthy behavior. So one of the things that I think parents are very attuned to is their kids spend a lot of time on devices or they're going to these sites, and oftentimes the parents will complain about it, but they likewise are spending a lot of time on Facebook or their own devices. So modeling healthy behavior for them, providing an example and doing it as a family, I think is a really important way to set your kids up for success. A family contract is a great way to do this. We've had some parents say that, and they say this jokingly, they'd prefer one fight over the contract than a fight every night of the week over when they can use the phone, for how long, what they can go to. So setting those expectations that apply across the board, I think is key. So to recap, protect them, prepare them, and provide the example.
We always had a 20-minute rule because we knew that a lot of times when the kids were playing the computer games, that most games go in 15 to 20-minute cycles where there's a natural break point, save point in that experience somewhere. And we would say, like, when we say time to get off the computer, we try to give them a little warning before they do that, so that there's some sort of conversation around, when it's time to go. And when it hits 15, 20 minutes, we'd always say Apple S, Apple Q. Like, we don't care at this point where you're at. It's time to get off because there's people in the building and we want to be with people first. And we do that. But we also wanted them kind of engaging with some of those lean forward technologies versus the lean backward technologies, which kind of goes to your attention versus the inactivity kind of idea too. So, I'm sorry, Ruth, you got the next question.
That's okay. You had a great point. Sean, your expertise comes from your business. Can you tell us more about Canopy.us and how it meets the need for parents?
Absolutely. So Canopy.us is our website, and Canopy is a software platform that parents will use to really experience a safer and better internet. So in a nutshell, our software blocks pornography, helps prevent sexting, and allows families to determine what apps their family can access on a device. So at a very high level, that's what we do. We try and equip and empower families to enjoy the internet that they want to experience. A few things on some of the specifics. The first I'll say is we're able to block and filter pornographic content that others miss by deploying artificial intelligence that operates in real time. And this is, it's a very impressive tool that as your child scans the internet, we are able to, in milliseconds, go through the page, identify if there is something that's bad on that site, and either block the site if too much of it is bad, or seamlessly remove the content that is problematic and serve up everything else. And a great example of this is you can go to twitter.com, and there you can get sports scores, news, funny quips, but also unfortunately pornography. And with our software on a device, you can, with peace of mind, surf that site, knowing that you'll only get the good and the bad stuff will be seamlessly removed, which I think is very helpful. And it really helps avoid the all or nothing decision, which a lot of times current options present. Do you want all of Twitter or none of Twitter? Well, that's not a very good choice to make. And so we think this real-time scanning has the potential to unlock parts of the internet that currently, unfortunately, have to be pushed off to the side. The second thing is our anti-sexting prevention feature. We think is very powerful. Our software is able to identify if photos taken by a device and saved to memory is problematic. When that happens, we give the child a choice to delete it or to send it to the parent for approval. And we think that that's something that, number one, we try and encourage children to think about the choices that they're making, because we always want to encourage them to make better choices. And it's a way to really prevent digital content that regrettably is forever from being sent out far and wide. The stats around this are very regrettable. 1 out of 4 teenagers in America has received a sext, and 1 out of 7 has sent one. And so this software, we think, really can help address that problem. And then lastly, on the app management side, there's some apps out there that are fantastic and some that are just not appropriate for children of certain ages. And so we allow you as a parent to determine what is appropriate for your family and whether they can access those apps or not. So as a bundle, again, we're trying to make sure that your child has the ability to experience a safer internet, and that's just the start. So we're very excited to be out there with our first release, and we're just getting going with more features that we'll be rolling out in the months and years ahead.
Sean, are you a Minnesota-based company then too?
We are based in Austin, Texas.
Texas.
Yes, the technology was developed. Our parent company is in Israel, where they have, collectively we have over 100,000 customers, and excited to say, as is relevant to you guys, in Israel, 90% of all the schools leverage our technology. And so we think in education, whether it's in an institution or in your own home, this is something that's helpful to have to make sure your kids can learn online, but to do so in a way that's safe and really safeguards their interests.
Outstanding. Thanks for the work you're doing, Sean. And Ruth, did you have any more questions?
I am good. Thank you.
Sean, did you have
well,
anything?
I really appreciate. No, I'm very grateful for the chance to connect today, and we're excited. If you'd like to learn more, again, you can visit us at canopy.us. We've got a lot of resources on there, and also one thing that we're hopeful to do is we've got a blog, and we're starting to push more content. We really want to equip parents with these the tools and also the knowledge on how they can navigate this. So whether it's Snapchat today or 6 months from now, there will be a new app that parents may be unfamiliar with. We constantly want to serve them the information they need to make choices and decisions that are best for their family. So right. It's going to be a long road, but we're excited to be on it, and very much appreciate the chance to connect with y'all today.
It's wonderful. Thanks, Sean. And we've got the canopy.us link up on the MACHE website too. And if they go through that link, then part of that cost is actually coming back to MACHE. So we're excited about partnering with you too, and just what you're doing for families, and glad to have you. So thanks for coming on the show, Sean.
Thanks so much. All the best.
And Matt, thanks for coming on the show. He won't respond because he's muted. All right, have a good day. Thanks for joining us.
You too. Thank you.